Okay, we're live, Judge.
Morning, everybody. Morning. And happy New Year, everybody. It's 2022. Let's see if we can make it 1,000% better than 2020 and 2021. What do y'all say? All right. The first Commissioners Court, regular Commissioners Court meeting in January 2022. It's about 9:03 a.m. We have a quorum established. Commissioner Karbowski, Commissioner Arthur, Commissioner Wilson are here. Commissioner Whitmire is by way of Zoom. We have a few folks that have joined us. Mr. Poston, our county attorney, has had COVID, so I'm glad you're by Zoom, Matthew. I hope you're doing a lot better. If you can hear us.
He just unmuted
It not only affect his smell and his taste, it affects his hearing.
It must have, Sheriff. It must have. Okay. Anyway, we do have a quorum established. We have business for the court. So if y'all would all stand with me. Our pledges to the flag. And Prince going to lead us in our opening invocation.
Face the American flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please face the Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Father, we come to you today, the first quarter of the new year, 2022, Father. We thank you for the past blessings of last year, Lord. Let us have a good year, 1,000% better, Father, we do ask. We thank you for your mercies. We ask that you continue to bless this court with your wisdom as we serve. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Well, first things first, we have a proclamation today. And, it's in memory of Mr. John Hebert, declaring January the 15th, the day of giving in Liberty County, Texas. And I'm sure everybody in here knows Mr. Hebert. And not only was he a good friend of the city and the county, but also a good friend of the court. And one of the folks that I could pick the phone up and make a phone call to and ask him a question about, what do you think? And he would tell me what he thought. And but he was always a gentleman about it, very cordial and very, very informed. And I miss him. I do miss him. But anyway, we have this proclamation. The family's here. Why don't y'all come join me? You know, it's Tuesday. I'm doing a lot better than I should be. I'm standing over here right now.
He was taking on it.
We have a proclamation this morning declaring January 15th as a day of giving in memory of John J. Hebert Sr. Whereas we come together to remember and honor a local legend in our community. Local businessman for over 60 years, John was a natural leader and spent his life in service to others. As it is fitting and proper to celebrate John's tremendous impact of volunteerism in Liberty County. Whereas John was an humble man who didn't speak much of his accomplishments, although there were many, including but not limited to former president of the Liberty Dayton Area Chamber, Liberty Dayton Chamber Citizen of the Year in 1989, Masonic Lodge Community Builder Award, Volunteer of the Year for the Texas Council of Child Welfare Board, Liberty Rotary Club Community Service Award in 1980, member of Liberty Lions Club since 1972, Lion of the Year in 1980, past president, Liberty Lions Club, Melvin Jones Fellow in 1992, Texas Lions Foundation Fellow, a past Grand Knight of the Knights of Columbus, Commissioner of the Port of Liberty, the Texas Workforce Commission, Gulf Coast Workforce Development Board, HGAC Airco Board, Liberty County CPS Treasurer, Board of Directors, Bridgehaven Children's Advocacy Center Board of Directors, and Friends of Scouting, Boy Scouts of America. He was also a lifetime member of Immaculate Conception Church in Liberty. Whereas John loved working hard, and that is no doubt. I've never seen anybody work so hard in life. Helping others and giving back to his community, John Hebert's children, John Jr., Stephen, and Donna, are setting a precedent, a day of giving. Every January 15th, John's birthday, the siblings will give to others from their dad. They're also asking everyone who knew Mr. John Hebert Sr. to give something on this anniversary day. It could be your time, your talents, your money, help to a struggling family, help to the homeless, or even just doing something that uplifts someone with a smile like John's. Now therefore be it resolved, the Commissioners Court of Liberty County, Texas does hereby proclaim the 15th of January in Liberty County, Texas as a day of giving. We encourage all citizens to join together to give back to the community in any way that is personally meaningful. It's signed this day, the 11th day of January, 2022, that day night. And have a happy day. Oh, did you hear that, y'all? Come on. Yeah. I want to tell you, I miss greatly. He was one of the guys that you could call, pick the phone up and give him a call and ask. It wasn't anything just insignificant when I would call him either. It was like, what do you think about this? Let me tell you, it gave you his opinion real quick, but it was always a delight to visit with. And we need more folks like that. And thank y'all, family, for being here. And thank y'all so much for the opportunity for this proclamation. And let's have, as John would say, have a happy day. Let's make 2022 the best one ever. What do y'all say?
Day of giving doesn't mean that you have to buy Leon's lunch or anything.
No. I'm not thinking about that. But thank y'all so much.
Vanessa, appreciate you keeping that.
Vanessa, for the record, John loves it.
I figured that. I figured. You don't pickle people unless you love them.
That's it. Thank y'all so much.
Judge, can you get with them and let's take one picture together?
Let's all get together.
Tighten it up a little bit.
Everybody.
I mean, suck it in, Joe.
Come on, man. It's after the holidays. It takes a while.
Okay, you want to hold the proclamation up? Hold it. Yeah, hang on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Come send me statement.
I'll take No, it was the best one I've ever read, really. Right, next item up is public comment. We have two folks who have signed up to visit with us with a public comment today. Stephanie Meadows. Stephanie, there you are. Come on up here, if you would, please, ma'am. Let me explain how this works. You get 3 minutes to state what you would like to state. And as you know, this is not an agenda item, so we can't answer that. Okay. But if it's something that concerns you, maybe you have the opportunity to visit with one of us later. After court, you're more than welcome to, okay? All right. So whenever you're ready. And you can face the camera if you'd like. If you don't mind looking at a camera.
It doesn't matter to me
Okay.
either way.
All right.
My name is Stephanie Meadows. I live at 1939 County Road 2148 in the Romare area. I've lived there for 21 years. My complaint today is road conditions, and I apologize. I did not know you had a celebration going on. If not, I brought something so trivial in today. My request today is I'm requesting that our road be totally resurfaced. All of my neighbors feel the same way, as I can constantly hear complaints from them as well about the damage that is done to our road. I have pictures here for anybody that would like to see. During the time that I've lived there, we've never actually had the complete road resurfaced, only patched occasionally. I started calling a few years back to the commissioner's office after I had to replace the front end in 3 of my vehicles all in the same year. There were high ridges in the road where the asphalt had buckled in several places. I called to see if they could smooth it out and top it over. At that time, I was told that it was possibly tree roots and that they couldn't cut tree roots to repair the road. So then I responded that if it was in fact tree roots, that the tree was on the easement and could be cut, so please just repair the road. Then I was told it could be flood damage, again, no repairs to the road. And then again, I was told by one of the crew workers that there had been green gases seen coming up from that location. So I mentioned that the EPA might be interested in finding the cause of that. Later, the work was completed. The ridges were smoothed out, though poorly, and the last section of patching was done, but it wore off quickly, and now is again very rough. We have called the commissioner's office when the holes appear, and usually someone comes out and fills them or leaves part of them. I will interject that I feel like maybe the commissioner is not seeing the work that the crew is handling at this time. The road has now been patched to the point it's so rough you can't drive on it without damaging the vehicles again. Even if you snake along through the damage to find the smoothest parts, you can no longer even possibly find those areas. I have requested that the commissioner come out to our road to discuss the issue, but I was told by his administration that he doesn't make home visits. It's becoming increasingly dangerous to drive as these holes are very deep and appear out of nowhere. Again, I have pictures. In these pictures, you will see large holes on the side of the road where there is actually a cave under the road. So far, you can't see where it ends. When vehicles drive over it, the road flexes so that there's no road bed to hold it up. And it's only a matter of time before it caves in completely, shutting off the back half of the road where we live with no way out. I've been requesting someone come out to fill these holes since December 22nd, but I was told that everyone was off for the holidays. We waited patiently, but until yesterday, no one came at all. I called again and told repair crew could not come out due to flooding. A truck did in fact come out late yesterday evening. And when my husband mentioned concerns about the bedding under the road, I was told it was not a big deal. It was just a washout. The repair truck actually caved off the edge of the pavement and patch material was just thrown over it. No real repairs were made, and the middle of the road is still soft, and I fear that it may cave in as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And as y'all know, that anyone that has the opportunity to come to and offer any public comment is more than welcome. There is a method that we do this. You need to be 15 minutes prior to court starting. And that's a cutoff time, okay? Probably be here an hour before court starts if you can, and sign up. You just come by the office, and Dee Dee and Joey can help you get on the list. And Ms. Meadows, thank you for doing so today. Okay. Next one is Mr. Chief Brandon Frazier. Where are you, Chief? They're in the back. Okay. Volunteer Fire Department, and specifically on item the 8.2 ESD item. Yes. Next, you get 3 minutes. There you go. Okay.
All right. So obviously, one of the items today is to discuss the emergency service district creation. As a hearing, one of the things today is that anybody with attached to the item at all is allowed to come up and speak and either voice their support or not on the matter. So formally, I just want to say obviously support this. I think that the area needs it. I think that it'll obviously give a lot to the area and to the people that the volunteer fire department already serves as best they can. At the end of the day, from everybody who may or may not voice their support or not on the matter, the end of the day, everything boils down to what it says in the health and safety code, which is at the end of the hearing, if the commissioner's court finds that the creation of a district is feasible, if it'll promote public safety, welfare, health, and convenience to persons residing in the proposed district, then the commissioner's court shall grant the petition, fix the boundaries, and impose the conditions negotiated under the health and safety code. So the reason why it says shall is because it's the will of the people. If the petition is found to be in working order like it's supposed to, then the people have a right to go and say, hey, this is what I want or I don't want. If they say they don't want it, fair enough, it was their decision. If they say they do want it, then it gets to move forward. So I'm asking everybody involved in the situation today just to please remember that and help support people having a decision on these things. That's what these local governments were made to be, and to really help and as needed in areas that are going through exactly what Plum Grove's going to. I'm not here to get into any of the debates that you've probably heard over the last 10 years of people fighting with each other. My priority and my support goes to the community getting the help it needs in those emergencies, in those times of service. We've been there, we've been doing it, that's where it is. This is a long-term answer. This isn't short-term. This is not about who likes who's going to cut off funding for who or anything like that. This will permanently set the area in regards to the emergency services and getting the area the support it needs as it grows, no matter what side of the gate you're on, no matter who you like, hate, or have some personal issue with. So I'll leave you with that, and I appreciate y'all's time and for hearing me out, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you coming in to see us.
Anytime.
Comment.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, all I want to say is the area that's drawn for the district, number one is over an existing district, and number two, it's over 30,000 different property owners. And the bulk of those property owners have recently purchased property and do not reside there yet to have the opportunity to vote. And so the fallacy of his argument is that let the people vote. Well, the vast majority of the people that own property that you would be taxing with this district already exist, number one, in a district and that provides the same services. Number two, they don't live there yet, so they can't vote. So that's why they want ESD, they want to get on now because before everyone moves in. So if everyone that owned property that live there, I would have no problem with the vote. But like it is, the property owners that are within the bounds of the district, the majority of those property owners don't live there yet.
Okay.
So it wouldn't, the vote is not a fair system.
Let's tell y'all what, that's just public comment. I didn't know we're going to go off into this deep at the time. Let's wait till that agenda item comes up. And if you have more comments, Brandon, you're more than welcome to. And anybody that's with you has more, be more than welcome to state your piece, okay? Just $5. Okay. Anybody here to declare conflicts of interest? On the court. Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Consent agenda's next. Wayne, we have any items?
Then we have two. One to Robert Kisson for $2,993.25. It's up for some work they did at the jail. Another one to Hearst Newspapers for $34.86.57.
Give it a look.
Yes, sir. The Hearst newspaper thing, and I apologize, it literally got on my desk this morning, but that's for the notice for this hearing that we had to publish to cover the Plum Grove area.
Yeah.
two additions. I'll make a motion to approve.
Got one more. Hold on, just one second. Do have that on the packet. Justice Cook, stand up. We have a new IT, and if Nick, bring him on up, introduce him to everybody.
Yes, sir. Everyone, this is Justice Cook. He is, we have an actual IT department. I had to get these on today. You know I'm running. We got copiers coming. I gotta hit every department today. He told me to put on my best Adidas, so I did. This gentleman comes from us from old days at ISD. He was the director over there. He ran the school district for 8 years. Definitely has the skill set I needed for the position I offered, and he should be a great fit for the department and the county. So looking forward to it. You'll see me and him running around like crazy, but we'll see another face. Yes, sir.
You need some.
Oh, easy. Yeah. I told him to get ready. So yeah, this is.
All right. Thank you very much. Good to have you. Good to have you.
My motion stands.
All right.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Motion approved, second. Leon to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Regular agenda, Commissioner Precinct 1, Bruce Grabowski is first up to consider approving a local agreement between Liberty County Precinct 1, City of Dayton for a period of 1 year to cooperate mutually, maintain streets, roads, ditches, and recreational areas to provide better service to the public at a reduced expense by avoiding costly duplication of equipment. Standard.
Same old. I've got a bunch more to come.
Okay.
Right.
Got a motion from Greg. Need a second? Second, Leon to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 2 for Mr. Poston. Matthew, can you hear us now?
Yes, sorry about that. My mic was having an issue.
Mine does too. And if necessary, order an election for the petitions. The signature of 100 or more qualified voters requesting that an election be held on the proposed Liberty County Emergency Services District Number 8, a taxing entity with proposed boundaries that include Liberty County abstracts 182, 297, 212, 132, 977, 225, 929, 228, 229, 136, 352, 993, 208, 230, 161, 128, 324, 188, 167, 493, 305, 318, 433, 635, 317. And will generally include the city of Plum Grove and the extraterritorial jurisdictions of the city of Plum Grove. Okay, there is the agenda items. Matthew, would you like to enlighten us more on this, please?
Sure. So the last time that we were here on this matter was a decision to have today's hearing. And that question was just simply about whether or not the petition itself had satisfied all the statutory requirements. It did. It passed a legal review. I know Mr. Bush and his office looked at the petition and the signatures. And so now it is properly before the court to consider it on the merits. So that is the question before the court, which is the creation of the district feasible? Will it promote public safety, welfare, health, and convenience of the persons residing in the proposed district?
Okay. Any discussion?
Matthew,
Yes, sir.
okay, I'm not seeing a map of the outlay of the district itself. But could you tell me if that district would be intaking a portion of that MMD or a lot of the MMD?
Yes, it will. I believe all of it. It will include all of City of Plum Grove and the entirety of the MMD. Now, there are provisions in the Health and Safety Code whenever two ESDs overlap in certain requirements and that have to be met there. But there is no conflict between an MMD and an ESD.
So, okay, so if this, all right, that area is an MMD. And the residents of that area pay a PO fee, HOA fee.
Yes,
Okay,
or presumably, yeah.
And an ad valorem tax.
and an ad valorem tax is correct. So first, it's my understanding that MMD is in the process of putting in place fire departments.
That's correct.
Throughout that area, how many fire departments will there be?
So if, with what we have right now, it looks like we'll have 4. With, inside the area that we currently have, and if, depending on the pace of build out, that number could change.
So they're already paying a fee. And if the CSD passes, then they will be what I would refer to as double taxed.
For the same services, yes, sir. And that's over and above the county tax that, and the school tax that they pay.
Yes, sir.
If I may, sir, I disagree respectfully about the double taxing.
If you would.
I apologize. I respectfully disagree that it's a matter of double taxing. Municipal management districts in the Texas government code, the entire concept of it is a supplemental service, not to supplant service. So anything that it does and every purpose of it is literally to supplement something else and to help or be part of that system and help it get better, grow, and everything like that. That's the entire point of it. It's not to supplant, so to supersede or be that ultimate authority or replace it. So there's a lot of services that the MMD offers that are offered by the county or other entities and things like that. So that's the whole purpose of it, and I support that. However, this is for the entire district, and again, it's not a conflict in the health and safety code. The provisions are specific to municipalities and other ESDs, more specifically, other ESDs offering the same service that were formed under Health and Safety Code 775, which the municipal management district was not.
Chief, is there a clear map? Is there a map to determine clear boundary line?
I provided all of that to the county, I believe.
He has, yes. I know, let me see if I can find a way to
Oh, you're
put
good.
that up.
Chief, stay up close. Stay up here.
Oh, no, disabled participant screen share. I don't know if you could. Let me screen share, have a moment there, Lee.
He's looking.
1 second.
Yeah.
You good?
There we go. Yep. Okay. All right, can y'all see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So you can tell, you can see Cleveland's ETJ just here on the north, Dayton's and Houston's here on the south. I can make out, I'm not sure how clearly you can see it on the screen, the southern roads in the Colony Ridge neighborhoods right here. And I can't quite see where the loop is going to come through, but I think it's about right here. But yeah, so this is it.
Does this matter? Does it meet and bounds, Matthew?
It does.
My biggest concern is the double taxation on our citizens that are overtaxed now. Out of 23,000 constituents I have in my area, I'm constantly getting pounded by taxes and wondering where the tax dollars are going. Is there any way this ESD, on which I do believe in ESDs, is there any way this ESD can separate and exclude the existing taxation area?
Out of the MMD.
Can you ask the question again? I guess I got a little confused at the end.
Is there any way we can create this ESD without?
I would say, that physically could it, there's always that possibility. However, that's not what the petitioners signed for.
All right, let me clarify what they're requesting this be brought to the public about.
Correct.
That's all we're doing right now.
Correct.
Does it meet the criteria placed on the ballot?
That's,
Consider that, okay?
yes, sir, but again, let me again state that the problem that I have with putting it on the ballot and going to a vote is you have 30,000 property owners that don't get a say in this district because they don't live there yet. They own property there, and you're gonna tax on them, and you're gonna put an additional tax on them that they didn't sign up for when they bought that property.
Right.
They had a district, it was explained to them that district would provide police services, which it does. Is that correct, Bobby? And it's gonna provide fire and EMS services, and it will when it is financially able. And so I'm asking the court and telling you it would be very unjust to have a vote before those residents that bought property there and own property there to go and have a vote without them being able to participate. And you have, when I say the total number of residents there, we have 7,000 lots that have residents on it. And the population of Plum Grove is 600 maybe. And so I have 30,000 families that have not moved in yet. So it would be a grave injustice to turn around and have a vote today before those people show up, and so their voice could be heard.
Let me ask Matthew, remember a while back, I know the city of Plum Grove voted to de-annex all portions of Colony Ridge from the city of Plum Grove. All right, this is including extraterritorial jurisdictions.
Yes.
Where does that fall?
The ETJ for City of Plum Grove.
Yeah.
This includes all of the City of Plum Grove and its Liberty County ETJ. Yeah, so it starts completely at the Liberty County border on the west, and then it completely includes the City of Plum Grove's ETJ. That's correct.
Well, where does the city of Plum Grove's ETJ stop?
I couldn't tell you for sure, but I know it includes all of it, at least on the Liberty County side. Let me put it that way.
It's a half a mile from their city limit line. Your ETJ extends a half a mile.
Yeah.
And my MMD is in their ETJ.
It's pretty much the old voting precinct in its entirety, I think 23. But the entire old voting precinct is what they drew the lines based on. I've got a map coming, if that'd be clear.
We're gonna need a map. Tell y'all what, let's move until the map gets here. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. That's okay with everybody? There's some clarifications here that these guys are gonna need. I'm sure David Whitmire would need too. But with where are the lines and what's the impact, okay? All right. We're gonna pass and then just for time being, come back to it, so the map shows up. Number 3, Ms. Bergman, come on up and visit with us.
Good morning.
Ms. Bergman's our district attorney. And number 3 is considered a request from the district attorney's office to give $1,500 to the 2022 training budgets for the following agencies from their special investigative fund: Cleveland PD, Dayton PD, Liberty PD, Liberty County Constable Precincts 1 through 6. Wow, thank you.
You're welcome. So we've had a push since I took office to provide training. So we've been providing in-county training based on recommendations from the various departments in the county. And we're going to continue to do that. We have a training at the end of this month through Charlie Mike, which is a hands-on training for close combat if there are clearing rooms and things. So that's this month's training. Last month's training was like a courtroom testimony training. And so what we've also wanted to do is provide each agency some additional funding to use that in-house as they see fit for specialized training or training that they think that their officers need, because we can only cover some major broad topics. And so we want to give them the tools and continue providing that for them.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion, Leon, second, Greg, to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, noes. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Don't sit down yet. Number 4, consider approving the purchase and installation of 100 Douglas blinds for all 3 district attorney offices to be paid from their special investigative funds in the amount of $12,594. It's your money. Hey.
I know, so we got some quotes, and there's not a lot of companies that will come out and professionally install blinds in a building like ours. We have quite a bit of space on the first floor, and the number of blinds that we need are kind of astronomical. One of the concerns is that a lot of our blinds are broken and don't work. And so really and truly, if the public wanted to come out and peek in our offices and see what was on our desk or our computers, they actually could do that at this point, which is kind of disheartening. And so we got a quote from this company to provide that. They'll install them, and then they will also, where there's a difference between a drop ceiling and then our ceilings that you can see from the outside, they're going to make that where it's like an unmovable part, but it looks like the blinds, so it looks better and more aesthetically pleasing from the outside.
Did we just lose the courtroom?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay. Now let's just hang tight, I guess.
Can you hear me, Pat?
What's that?
I said, can you hear me?
I sure can. Yeah. Apparently you and I are still here, and we're still live on YouTube. Let's give the Commissioners Court a chance to kind of get back on. I'm sure it was just a network problem.
Right.
Well, even Matthew just went gone. You on this by yourself?
Yeah, it looks like the Veterans Office just got dropped too. So I think if we be patient, I know that these, Zoom rooms are static, so they should be able to pop right back in.
Right.
Judge, how far you want to rewind this to?
Well, we'll see if we can get Jennifer to remember her speech.
I can do it. Are we ready? Can I come on?
Yeah, their picture's not showing up yet, so it's saying the audio's working. Commissioner Whitmire, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're good then.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Can't see you, but I can hear you.
I asked to unmute for Matt. It's his choice if he wants to unmute. I clicked it.
There it is.
There we go. Sorry about that. I'd stepped away to see if I couldn't see if y'all were getting back on or not.
We're good.
All right, we're good to go.
So are we on blinds or do we do?
We're on blinds.
Okay, we're on blinds. I wanted to make sure I had to go back to one before. So we got some quotes for blinds. There's not a lot of companies that will come out here and install them in a building like ours. And then ordering some of these large spans is kind of costly. And so we found a company, they will come professionally install some blinds in the courthouse. We have some issues that you can see in the windows based on the blinds that we have now. They don't close, there's gaps and holes. And so we wanted to make sure that we provided the level of security that our office needs, as well as be aesthetically pleasing to folks on the outside. And so I said that we were getting it to where there's not going to be a gap between the drop ceiling and the top of the blinds. They're going to fill that with, they're going to construct something so it looks better for the public as well. I feel like we owe the county that, to make sure that it looks nice and cohesive with what the architecture is of the county and the courthouse.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion for Bruce, Greg, to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, motion carries. Thank you, Joe. The second speech is better than the first one. Number 5, consider approve the update for the optical juror reimbursement donation list as required by Texas Local Government Code Section 61.003 for the county courts of law and for the district courts of Liberty County and Lee. It's all yours.
Yeah, I asked to put it on here. The auditors let me know in December that the Pregnancy Care Center, which the commissioners put on the list for the juror donations, is no longer in business. So we need to remove them. But you also have the option to add other entities if you want for donation purposes in their place, or we can just remove them off. I think I put copies of mine and Delia's current juror donation forms. The other people on the list, I don't have it in front of me, but I think they're CASA, Bridgehaven, CPS, and I think there's another one, but I'm losing it. Some of them are required by law to be on that list. The Veterans Court, for example. I think the victims one is, I think, required, but the others are optional for you guys to put on there. And honestly, I've seen some counties that have 26, charitable organizations on their list. I think we had 4 or 5, and but we do need to remove the one. And at the same time, you can update it, add somebody, do whatever you want to, but that is a commissioner's court function that you guys have to perform. So, but we do need it pretty quick because we need to change those forms. We do have jury trial scheduled, so.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
What, just removing it, or do you want to add anybody?
I think we have any to add.
You can add, yes. So I think in the statute, it says it has to be somehow related to a court function. But for example, if you want to add Meals on Wheels, they take care of the elderly, that's adult protective service, I mean, it's just in the same way that CASA and Bridgehaven and those guys are tied to childcare, you could possibly look at.
Can we approve it for what charitable that we have now and then add on as we want?
You can, it's just, we have to,
Make the form.
we have to make the forms up, so give us enough notice, but at least for this point, you need to remove the Pregnancy Care Center from your donor list, according to that statute. And if you want to add someone at this time, you can do that as well. But, my request is that you update it so that we're not collecting money for something that no longer exists.
Do you have anybody you want to add right now? No.
That was my suggestion, was maybe, it's up to you guys. If you want to look into it and update it again at another day, you're certainly welcome to. It's your option, it's your choice. So I'm just asking you to remove that one off of there because we don't have anyone to send that money to.
Let's
make a motion to remove that one,
Okay,
and then we will look over the rest of the, maybe the next commissioner's court, if we want to add anybody, we'll add somebody.
I'll
okay.
change my motion to that.
Okay,
So you want to just keep the current list, just remove the pregnancy care center?
For right now.
Okay.
all right, you got that motion down?
Well, the agenda items to abide by the statute,
Yes.
okay?
So you guys can make whatever list you want, but if you want to keep the current list and just remove the pregnancy care center since it is no longer functioning, then it would just be the remainder of the items on the list, which is, I think, Bridgehaven.
Yeah.
Bridgehaven, yes,
It is.
to update it and remove the pregnancy care center.
We got a second.
Yeah.
So Greg moved?
No, Greg
Okay,
got the second.
okay.
All right, everybody clear on the motion? I believe we are. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 6, from Sheriff. Good to see you this morning, Sheriff.
Thank you, sir.
Consider to approve the Liberty County Sheriff's Office Jail to purchase additional camera systems from MTS Montgomery Technology Systems LLC for a cost of $26,900 from the fiscal year budget 2022.
Yeah, Judge, this is an expansion of adding more cameras to the jail. There's a bunch that were needed. Harold, Stephanie, and Dwayne have all been in on the deal. This is from monies that we got from NCIC with the jail funds, the technology funds, so we have the money to spend. We didn't have to go out for bids because it's adding to an existing system.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from Greg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no. Motion carries. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you all.
Number 7, Mr. Douglas, consider to approve preliminary plat approval for the state's section 5. It's 155 lots, each slightly more than 1/2 acre. And I think it's 0.79.
They range.
Yeah.
The minimum are half, but they'll go up to like 7/10 of an acre.
Yeah. Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time since I came up here with one agenda. It's kind of nice.
Imagine.
Commissioner Wilson, this is Encino Estates, which is in your precinct. They have filed the appropriate paperwork asking for a preliminary plat on Encino Estates Section 5. And LJA has gone through it, looked it over. It does qualify to meet our minimum standards for a preliminary plat. They propose to have 155 new lots. And in conversation with the developer, they're going to go up to 8 sections. So this is 5, so there's 3 more behind it.
Okay.
And they're going to go almost all the way over to 320. So big subdivision. I was in it last week. I counted 15 homes coming out of the ground right now. So
This is close, sir.
Yeah.
It's a nice subdivision. Most of the housing out there now is starting at around 300,000 and going all the way up to $1 million.
And they've been in contact with the school.
Yes,
They
sir.
passed the electricity bills.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do a good job with this. This is a good developer. This is the Tour 18 group. And they've been one of our better developers. You know, Commissioner Wilson kind of got a rough start with these folks.
We did.
But they have turned out to be an excellent developer. So we're going to recommend to you that you approve their request for a preliminary plat on Encino Estates Section 5.
All right, any discussion? What's the court's pleasure?
Make the motion we approve.
Second.
Motion from Leon, second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Glad to see you walking better.
Amen, bro.
Yeah, there you go. Number 8, consider the reappointment of Mark Neal Richie Ewing and Clint Bush to the ESD number 7 board for 2-year terms. And everybody's agreed to.
Reappointment, I move approve.
Okay. Got a motion from Greg to approve. Second, was that you, Bruce?
Yes, sir.
Second from Bruce, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Jennifer, you got one more.
Yes, sir.
You just thought you were through, okay?
I know, I've got to get to veterans court.
Number 9, consider approve the district office to pay for mobile command unit out of their special investigative fund to assist all local law enforcement agencies to perform their essential work remotely in the field. That's a good idea.
All right, so one of the things that we have noticed as we've gone out to major crime scenes, to SWAT situations, and to standoffs and things of that nature is that one of the needs in our county is to have a mobile command center. When we have a shooting or events at night, we don't have appropriate lighting unless the fire departments are there, and then that calls them out of service until we're finished. And so there's all these tools that we need and things that law enforcement need. As you know, part of our big portion of our county is still rural. We don't have access to get to, the substations for the SO. There's a lack of cell phone service, internet service. And so we want to have a mobile command center that has all of those things that they can get and drive to the scene, regardless of whatever kind of scene it is. We'll make it available either through my office, or each agency will have a designated person that can pick it up. And it's gonna, I'm kind of making a list now. I'm asking all the agencies to give me some of the things that they think would be helpful to have in there, but we have everything from a place to have interrogations in there, or interviews, computers, internet, scanners, printers to be able to do warrants. Someone told me today they need paintbrushes, because if they uncover, bones, they need that to kind of clean around it. So we're gonna have all of those things there, as well as high-powered lights. It has an onboard generator. A place for them to have, to take a break if they're out there for a number of hours. And so we want to provide that to better able serve our community and to give law enforcement kind of what they need to do their job more efficiently. So it costs enough money that we're going to have to go out for bid on that. And so we're working on getting that process going, but I wanted to make y'all aware that it's a kind of a large expenditure.
Is it a trailer or self-contained?
It's a self-contained, so we looked at having one built, and they're upwards of $200,000, and so we found a motorhome that's a toy hauler. There's only a certain company that makes those, Thor does, and so the back of it is all kind of stainless steel. We can take out the bed that lowers down, and it's sufficient as an AC, a generator that runs in a bathroom, and has everything that we need in it, as tables. And so we'll kind of convert that a little bit on our own and save $60,000, $70,000 in doing that.
Chief?
Yeah.
I know y'all picked up one like that. You had to go to New York to get it, but anyway. Is there anything out there that you can help them with, or?
I absolutely can. We can work together, Jeff.
Yeah, I want to make it available to serve the people of Liberty County. It's something that is needed in times of disaster. And so, the Rangers are on board, and everybody's kind of going to sort this out together. But we looked at some companies, and we can't really, it's cost prohibitive to spend over $250,000, $300,000 on it, but we can certainly kind of do this for now. And at some point that may be an option later.
Thank you. I mean, it's a great idea. Let's see if we can all work together and get the best deal we can.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for Bruce, second for Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Motion carries. Let's go back. Thank you. Yeah, let's go back to revisit number 2. Again, Matthew, you still with us, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So now we're back on the issue of the map. Clint's got the maps, right?
Something like that. This is the biggest that they could find. We're talking about this area right here. The green and the green. Chief, verify this first. And
subdivision pretty much based it on. So we'll probably do the same. Yes, there's also their portion
I'm coming, you guys.
Okay.
I mean, you can come. ETJ is about right here. If I recall correctly, on where this is a city. So that one road. Right here. Encompasses the entire road system. 130.
Do we have where the 99's going through?
Here it is.
Ricky, you might want to look at that too, since you're going to be collecting tax.
I'll send them a bill.
I know you.
Yeah, of course, we've been collecting on the MUD for 2 years, so we have a pretty good handle on that. And it's great.
That's good. Yes. Here's 99. All this color, all that color. Okay, where's it? Right in the year. I think it's an overlay about right here. This, and then from all just north of the Empire, all of this. All of that. This is not along but and then this would be so. Shift this line, this part. This is a piece. Say the whole thing for leaving out. Okay, well, sure. All right. You good? Yep. Lee, you need to sit.
Okay. Matthew, anything else you need to add to it? At the moment?
No, I just pulled it up on the Liberty CAD to look at the boundaries of the MMD, Plum Grove, et cetera. And it just reminded me of, I think, the point you were trying to make, which is that when Plum Grove and Colony Ridge settled their lawsuit, Plum Grove agreed to reduce their ETJ down to more or less be their the boundary right there. It is my, or at least reduce their ETJ authority there. So, but in any event, this district certainly includes all of Plum Grove. A couple other thoughts that have kind of come to mind for what it's worth, and please, this is I don't ever want to step over my bounds as the county's legal advisor, but a couple thoughts have come to mind. And that is the city of Plum Grove, the way that the roads are laid out, the main thoroughfare is along Plum Grove Road. And so there's as we all know, there's a tremendous amount of traffic coming from the neighborhoods through the city. So there's a lot of traffic that's generated outside of the MMD that, the services are still being required. And so not all effects are local here. You might consider the effects that this has for the volunteer fire department who's trying to serve, this large number of folks who are coming through.
So let's go back and just revisit that. ETJ one more time, is it? My understanding was that the ETJ ended at the boundary of the city, period. Is that what you're saying or not?
Yes, yeah, more or less. As it, there might be some, very academic argument to be made about the ETJ as other ETJ authority and powers that the city might have that doesn't relate to development and subdivisions and that sort of thing. But yeah, for these kinds of purposes, I believe that it ends right there at the city limits.
So in the petition, I'm going to say this: the public in their petition has met the criteria.
That's correct. They have met the criteria.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that. My only problem is establishing the boundary and make sure that we're correct. That's it. That's it. Is it
okay? So there is also a procedure. I'm sorry.
I said, I think they are established, haven't they? Didn't they have any, they got it all on there this time?
Yes, they sure did. Yes. So there is a procedure under the Health and Safety Code for a municipality, which is included in the district, to object or to grant consent to it. But some of those questions will be resolved after the election. There's also a procedure where the municipality can engage in negotiation with the county on a couple of areas, which I don't think are in the main applicable here because they're about whether or not there will be mutual aid between a city fire department and the ESD, et cetera. But yeah, so but all that's to say is, if the city objects, my understanding is, this is very informal, but it is unlikely that they would object. But there is a procedure where they can object and have it excluded.
Brandon, I do have a question about it. Come on up, please.
If I may add on that topic, actually the city's already addressed it in regards to their support in meetings because again, that's one of the actual stated physical restrictions is a municipality in its ETJ has to either consent or not. That's very specific.
Do you have a letter that states their consent?
I believe I've already submitted it. It doesn't have to be necessarily at this point. There's a point in the process, as Mr. Poston, where it becomes more formal in the process, but it has already been done. And I believe that a letter was submitted a year ago or so. But again, there's a specific point in the process where it kind of gets reaffirmed in this, in the process of form.
I'm just trying to go through, I'm following the rabbit trail on this, okay? And just trying to make sure everybody understands what we're sitting. So your volunteer fire department will become an ESD, is that what you're saying?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
ESD is formed. And more often than not at that point, that ESD.
So you're saying your fire department will not become a part of this ESD?
Not that it will become a part of, but from a formal standpoint, there's two different formations of ESDs. There's one where rural fire department is converted into, but you have to have pre-met a whole different requirement. And then there's the physical creation of. So what happens on the physical creation of is the community or the ESD and the fire department, they don't become two merging entities by any means. But they do partner together. I guess is the easiest way to say it. Yeah. It doesn't. It's super beneficial to the community that way in general because the options and the things that exist in the 501c3 world, there's some of those access that the organization then has, and the things that exist in the political subdivision of the world are present, and it really allows for maximized assistance to the community.
Clint, I got a question for you since you sit on the ESD. Once upon a time, Hardin Fire Department was volunteer. And then they were assumed into the ESD realm, correct? At that time, then the ESD had to assume all of their debt and their equipment as well, is that correct?
that's a yes and no to answer your question, that will answer your question. An ESD is created, then they have the option to contract with that private company or not. They can contract with any private.
My next statement, they could actually say, Plum Grove, we don't want you.
They can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they are entitled with full authority to say who is going to provide fire services in that district. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, why not get this out in the open? I
Because
mean,
ESD could contract with MMD to provide fire services if the folks created it in that area.
okay.
So my biggest problem is I have voluntarily created a district with your help over the land that I am subdividing. So that those people will be charged an additional 35-cent tax to provide these exact same services, right? And so that was the purpose of the creation of my district, and that's what all the funds from my district that is created thus far have been used for. And so, and it will continue to be that way. And I don't need, my customers don't need to pay an additional 10-cent tax on top of everything that they already pay. And so,
Mr. Harris is more than welcome to return 6 cents of his to his community, and we'll continue to provide the service. So
I think that's totally out of context. I was with you, but
I guess I didn't say it right. I apologize. As I said, they're not in conflict with each other by states of law.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things that Mr. Harris or the MMD or however you want to look at it could do with that money. There's a whole list of things, from roads and all kinds of stuff that are physically in the parameters of what he does. I'm not against that. I'm all about it. Put that money in those locations. The reality is this area needs this to be able to keep up. And like I said before, even in regards to changing the boundaries, 775.017 says when the boundaries of the petition can be changed, and you need a population of 3.3 million to change what the parameters of the boundaries of the petition says. That's what the 100 people, as law said, they wanted. It was their will to want to vote on.
How does the department see the benefit out of this ESD?
Well, so the real answer, I get that this upsets certain people in the room that this thing is on the table. I get it. But nobody, not one single person has more to lose than every one of my volunteers. That is just a fact. The community's been coming to us for years asking for this to be formed. And nobody has more to lose, like I said, than the volunteers. Because the deal is when an emergency service district is established, you've ensured that they have the assistance they need going forward. It's not, well, what if the contract that the volunteer fire department has with the county cuts off their budget next month or reduces it or doesn't increase it enough. There's none of that. Here is a path that sets you up going forward forever.
So what
make sure you take it.
look to benefit the department out of the ESD?
Absolutely not. We have the most to lose because that ESD can tell us to take a hike.
That's what I was fixing to ask you. I've seen it, I've witnessed.
Absolutely.
In my precinct where an ESD has pretty well washed their hands of that department.
Absolutely.
Okay. What would happen then?
Well, they would, but before they make a move like that, they would need to do their diligence to provide, to be able to be doing those services and move forward and not harm the community. As I was saying, the most to lose has to do with the volunteers. And we all sat down when this initially came up more than a year ago when we started this 2 years ago, when all this got started. And it was put on the table to know that they could lose everything. But what it came down to is in the end, if they were there for the right reasons, which were to help people, then they were more than willing to risk to be told to get out and ensure that fire protection is given to that community for the rest of their lives. hands down.
You know, let me make one clarification a while ago. We didn't create the MMD. This body didn't do it. We supported it, yeah. I mean, because we took a vote on it to support the MMD. But the legislature formed the MMD.
Yes, sir.
Have you, we're just having a nice casual conversation here.
Yes, sir.
Has the fire department sat down with Mr. Harris and said, look, you get your MMD going, you start forming fire departments out there, and we have mutual aid together. Would that serve you better on a faster timeline than having an ESD, which is going to take you 2 or 3 or 4 years to really get up and running, you know, as far as what you need? I mean, that's just a thought.
So there's been conversations, and I'll say this, where there probably seems to be an attack relationship between me and Mr. Harris. I would rather not put that conversation in here because I would not like to say anything in that negative light. But I'd just say that the conversation we had, you know, didn't yield a result.
Yeah.
And I think that's sufficient. I don't want to be unfair on the matter. I'm here for support of something, not to attack somebody.
Well, you know, when it all boils down to this, you know, is petitions there, it's been signed by 100 people. We're compelled by law to go through the process. We're good with that. My thing is, one of these days we have to have these conversations, you know, and it doesn't matter if y'all don't get along, you still have to get along.
I would say that the ESD has a bigger, better, and quicker chance of doing more for the community, and wouldn't harm others in this county. So say
you're not paying the taxes. You want to put a tax, raise the taxes for all my customers, but you're not paying the tax.
Well, I'm not the petitioner either.
Do you own land inside the district?
I'm not the petitioner.
I'm asking you, but do you own land? Are you raising your taxes?
My taxes are maxed out where I live.
So basically what you're saying, you want to take money from our customers, right, for you.
I don't take
you're not giving yourself a tax raise. You just want to put a tax raise the tax for all my customers, right, and me.
I'm here supporting a petition.
Okay. Let's settle this down. That's going to be a question that goes down the road for voters anyway. Okay.
Well, I'm just wondering if these 100 signatures or more, do they realize that, and are they in the area that's going to be double taxed?
Yes, sir. Those petitioners are petitioners that live and pay taxes within the jurisdiction, and the top of the petition says that there will be a creation of a new tax.
No, but you didn't answer this question.
Just answer that.
So do they live in the MMD?
Yes.
That I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because you have all this land sold out there that a lot of people haven't moved into yet. And they don't have the opportunity to sign a petition saying, yeah, we want double taxes here on services that we're already paying for.
I'm not going to comment on that.
So
I just run the elections.
Not the real problem.
20% of the people that are going to be affected by this actually live there so far. That's my problem.
Well, we could always use that argument going forward to be.
Yeah, you can.
You could always say, well, when I had kids, my kids didn't get the choice, or 20 years from now, or 30 years, Houston's population is constantly growing. So does everything that decisions are made? I mean,
no, but what I'm saying is people that bought land from me, they knew they were in the MMD. They knew they were going to pay tax. But if you want to put an ESD, why don't you put it on Point Road?
The petition had clear boundaries of which the
double tax to the people that live in my district. That's what you're doing. That's your intent.
Within the powers of the MMD to release any of the tax money that they're collecting.
Yeah, I can open my wallet and give you whatever you want to.
No, I'm not asking that.
Yes. Okay, we're not at that point in argument.
I have a real problem supporting anything that double tax people to provide the same service.
Thank you.
And as far as hoping that you work together, I've got to see a little evidence of that, and I haven't seen it over the last 3 or 4 years. So I don't have anything against ESD. In fact, I think they're great.
Yep.
But I have a little problem with double taxing people to provide the same service.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Harris, do you donate any funds to Lumber Fire Department?
Yes. I pay the parking lot and give them a credit card to go buy the appliances and stuff that are in there now.
the system within the operating budgets?
When we had Hurricane Harvey, I rented them a facility to stay as they could be dry because their facility flooded.
Question. Question. This has been going back and forth for a long time. I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
We got a motion to approve. We have a second.
David, is your motion to order an election, because you're not really approving anything?
I'll approve the order of election.
We got a motion from David to order an election. Do I have a second? I'll let that sit in there. I'll ask again, do I have a second? Hearing no second, that motion dies for lack of second. Matthew.
Yes, sir.
That did die for a lack of second. Is there any possibility we can revisit this at a later date?
I don't think without, I think it might take another petition, quite frankly. If there is a motion, there is mention in the code that the Commissioners Court may adjourn the hearing as necessary. That there may be a method where if the Commissioners Court decided to adjourn and revisit it at a future date, I will look into that option and make sure, but that might be a way.
All right, I'll tell you what, I would like to ask the court to go into executive session for consultation on this for possibilities of legal liabilities involved. We have that statute that we can go into, correct, Matthew?
If it is y'all's intent to receive the advice of counsel, yes.
Yes. All right. All right, need a motion and a second to ease off into executive session. What's the court's pleasure?
Matthew, will you attend? What are we going to do? Executive session?
Yeah, if it's for the advice of counsel, I will definitely be there.
We need advice of counsel on this. We do. Okay.
I'll make a motion going into executive session.
Okay, we got a motion from Leon to ease on going to executive session on this. Need a second. Got a second. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Here no nays. Okay, we're gonna adjourn at 10:02.